Okay, all you people that hate rust and want to keep something for a long time, if you're anything like I am, I like to keep something for as long as I can, especially if I like it. And this car I really like. I bought this car 15 years ago, and it is a 1991 Volkswagen Jetta turbo diesel 5-speed. What I am showing you is the results of a 15-year-old rust prevention job that I've done on this car when I first bought it. When I first bought this car, I removed all the interior, carpet, mats, and exposed all the metal. And there was some rust. The rust you are seeing now, that rust was here 15 years ago. What I have done in that 15 years is drove this car a lot of back roads, a lot of rough terrain, hauled a lot up and down the highway. Lots of stones and pebbles have slammed themselves up against the underbody of the car, up against the floorboards, which create little dings and dents, which creates the paint to crack, which makes the moisture go inside, and the rust starts. So what I've done 15 years ago now, keep this in mind, I wire wheeled it with a grinder, little 4-inch mini grinder. I got a very good quality wire wheel that screws directly onto the grinder's shaft. Put your safety glasses on and wear pants and coveralls too, because them little wire strands, they come flying off. When you apply pressure to do a really good job, them little wire strands will come off of that wheel and they will fly off into your pants, into your skin, whatever object they hit, they will go and lodge themselves inside. So wear your protective gear, cover yourself, make sure you're safe. It's the best thing you can do. Okay, so I wire wheeled it all. Now after that, I washed it all with an acetone, make sure there was no oils or any such contaminant on it. And I dried it off very wellly, and then I mixed up myself some fiberglass resin, and I coated the entire floor with a fiberglass resin. Then once that dried, what I have done is I have top coated that with an epoxy 2-part paint, an epoxy paint, very strong, durable paint, resistant to many things. And then after, what I've done is I took some burlap bags and I cut them into shape, into sections. This is one section. Move over here. That's 2 section. And then in the back, there's another section. And then on the passenger side, right side, there's another section. Well, I lined these sections with burlap bags to fit nicely in there. And then what I've done is I've taken new motor oil and I poured them all over the burlap bags to saturate the burlap bags. I didn't put excess so it would drip out, just the right amount, just to leave it nice and wet. And then on top of them burlap bags, I put the polyplastic film on top of that, over the entire floor. I cut out the spots that needed to be cut out for the plastic, like the emergency e-brake, the shifter, the little pieces that are sticking up. I made little holes that would slide through. And after that polyplastic was laid out flat, I put all the mats back inside the car. And then once the mats were back inside the car, then I put the carpet and I put the seats and the rest of the interior. And this is the result of 15 years. I'm about to redo this event. I'm going to do it exactly the same way I have done 15 years ago. Now within that last 15 years ago, I have driven this car a terrible lot. I have put so many miles on this car, through so many back roads, gravel roads, dirt, dust, grime, etc. Now, in the future, those trips that I have been doing, they have come to an end now. So I'm assuming that the next time I approach this prevention job is going to last a lot longer, because I will be mostly on pavement roads. So I won't be experiencing them stones flying up against the underbody and making dents and bending the floorboards. And this is how I'm going to do it next time around. I'm going to preserve it exactly the way that I spoke earlier. I'm going to wire wheel it all. I'm going to coat it with a liquid resin, fiberglass resin, mix in the hardener, let it harden up, sand that all welly, scuff it up very good, and then put an epoxy paint. Make sure you sand it good. This way it adhere. The epoxy paint will adhere to the fiberglass resin very well, and it will not peel. Now these holes that you were seeing, I'll try and zoom in a little bit better. You see there's a plug beside this. This little plug right here. This little plug actually goes in this hole. So it's not actually a rust hole you're seeing. And over here, there's the same. There's some more holes there. I placed the plug in that one. It's not a rust hole. It's just a plug that goes in there. And up in here, it's a bigger plug. Bigger plug goes in here. See, this plug goes in there. Now I will put them plugs in there. I will use a caulking. I will lay a bead of caulking. The perimeter around here. A good caulking. A very good caulking. And then I will place this on top of here like this. And I will push it in place. And then I will take more caulking and I will caulk it and fill it up in here. Just to make sure no moisture can get inside. And that's how I will do each and every cap you see. Little plug. Now this front floor section here, this is the passenger side. This paint is practically exactly like it was the day I placed it there 15 years ago. I find it incredibly amazing. I really do. For anybody and everybody that likes to preserve something, well, this is surely the way to go. There's lots of theories, lots of methods, and many of them can be done. But this one here was a simple, efficient way of doing it, and the results I am impressed with. Now, what made me go through this process of pulling the carpet out again was, well, I was working on the K-frame in the front of the car, and I had to put one of the support bolts up, and the upper nut stripped. So I had to lift up the carpet to go in through a cap that went down through that chamber so I could hold that nut to tighten it up more so it wouldn't spin on the top half. I could not see that. So as I did that, I peeled the carpet back and I felt underneath it was just terribly wet. So, well, I was thinking, well, this is a good time to pull all the carpet and the interior out and prevent this rust again. So this is exactly why I'm taking this step now again. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really expecting a long life from it this time around, because the use of the car is going to become that much less compared as it has been in the last 15 years. Now, once I get this all back into shape, just before I'm ready to put the interior back in, I will make another little video, and I will call it part 2, and I will show you the results of just before the interior is ready to go back into it. Carpet, mats, etc, etc, etc. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I'll tell you, if you want something to last, it's well worth the effort put into it, because the results are incredible. The process of this job that I'm doing now is roughly about a 3-day job. Not full days, roughly 3 good days. Not completely full days, a little bit here, a little bit there. So the time spent is really not too bad compared to the amount of time one will get from that little time they put into it. 15 years, 3 days. 3 days of effort, 15 years of time lasting. Not a bad turnaround. I hope everybody can see the common sense in this. It's the reason why I'm showing it. Things can last if we want them to. All we have to do is have the effort, take the time, and put it in the involvement of making the accomplishment come. And this is the result. I like it a lot. This little car, I like a lot, and I plan on keeping it for a very long time, as long as I possibly can. Anyway, thank you for now, and look to see part 2, please.